Welcome everybody, and it's a pleasure to be at the largest virtual tech conference in Luxembourg. I hope the next one will be in person, as I look forward to meeting all of you. Today, I'll be talking about building a compliance culture in the cloud for financial services customers, and how AWS is helping share and shape the future of financial services along the way. Cloud is becoming the new normal for financial institutions around the world, and multiple converging factors are driving cloud adoption. Our customers are telling us regulatory compliance continues to be a significant expense driver, as regulatory oversight continues to expand. Security is job zero for financial services customers who are realizing that cloud offers superior security and data protection. We also see an increase in competition and disruption, with new finance entrants to the market and traditional players creating new startups along the way, like ABN AMRO with New 10. We also see AWS creating Flora that I'll give you more information on along the way. But we also see neobanks like N26 in Germany, who are also hosted on AWS, and TransferWise in the help of transferring money along the way. We also still see the need to invest and maintain legacy technology. It's not just a drain on your financials, but also on your human capital, as it still requires a lot of support, maintenance, and manual work, supported by complicated licensing solutions that customers are experiencing. Resources are scarce as more and more enterprises make the move to the cloud. Finding the right people to help drive this change is important, especially in light of shrinking budgets and declining revenues. Firms are sitting on petabytes of data, either for compliance purposes or because they think they can mine that data, enabled to have actionable insights to provide better customer experiences along the way. There are some of the key trends that we are seeing and use cases that we're seeing globally and locally emerge. First, new digital channels are being adopted in banking beyond hosting websites. We see the creation of e-banking, mobile banking, and also creating alternatives to the broker agent model in insurance to appeal to younger consumers. Like Flora from AWS, what's the first digital insurance solution in Belgium? Secondly is grid computing. What would you do if you would have unlimited access to computing power? Banks, insurers, and hedge funds are finding out if they're running financial simulations and managing risk to explore trading options, perform actual calculations. Cloud has that next level of computing power available at your fingertips. Third is a data lake, making it so much easier to perform analytics in an aggregated manner to collect data from unstructured and structured data that you have in your organization. We're even seeing FINRA use a data lake to save money and improve its market surveillance. We're seeing regulatory reporting, we're seeing insurers perform customer sentiment analysis to provide real-time customer recommendations and better experiences to anticipate the needs of their customers. We even see core systems being migrated to cloud. We're seeing a number of customers migrate core systems to the cloud in an effort to gain agility and break free from costly, slow legacy architectures that take months to update, patch, and maintain. We actually see customers like Openbank running Temenos. We see Oakmont running Mambu Cloud. And it's really necessary for companies that are investing in digital innovation to first modernize their core systems in order to keep up with the market. Another hot topic is machine learning. AWS continues to make it easier for organizations to implement machine learning. And we're seeing this across the industry, back office, front office, new use cases every day, from fraud detection, sales recommendation, and contract analysis. A hot topic in the market, as we all follow the Bitcoin prices, is blockchain. Blockchain, a distributed ledger, we're starting to see momentum build in the space. Leading providers are running applications on AWS, and we're starting to see projects related to clearing, settlement, trade finance, corresponding banking, settlements, mortgage loan applications, and a lot of these projects are still in development, but we are already seeing significant financial service blockchain workloads move to production. A great customer story is Coinbase. For ones who are using cryptocurrencies, Coinbase is an AWS customer that uses AWS to facilitate their platform. We see this along the way, not just locally, but globally. AWS is helping a number of customers to engineer change in their organization and digitally transform. Here are some of the customers that you can see from the region in EMEA, but also global customers that we have helped and that were kind enough to share their logo on the slide. You see not just financial enterprises do this, we see financial startups and ISVs, independent software vendors from all over the world. Some of my favorite ones are Ethos in Belgium, Nutan in the Netherlands, and 26, but we also see companies like Rabobank and others adopting cloud, and Aliens and Euronext. This wave of adoption and innovation will continuously grow as we see that financial services, despite being one of the most regulated industries along with healthcare and government, we do see that there is a unique set of challenges in this industry. Let me walk you through some of these challenges and what AWS can do throughout these challenges. First, the constantly evolving nature of regulatory requirements. Looking at different geographies around the world, you can see that regulation is changing, evolving everywhere, and in Europe specifically, there's a big driver for privacy, with a key focus of GDPR in the last couple of years. How do we make sure that everybody is GDPR compliant and we're providing tools and services to enable that? Second, the security threat landscape has never been this dynamic. We can all see in the recent years that with COVID-19, with the pandemic, there was a rapid shift of moving people from the office to working from home and working remotely. So the ability to respond to these threats effectively is a need that all our financial customers, as well our general customers, are experiencing. When it comes to cybersecurity, we can see that the environments have changed dramatically. If we look at 10 years ago and we look at today, organizations were far less exposed. There was online, those perimeter-based approaches were effective at keeping the bad guys out. And the attacks themselves were very straightforward, very simple to say the least. Today, we see organizations are saturated with complexity. Hybrid cloud environments, virtual desktop infrastructures, bring your own device, mobile and Internet of Things endpoints that have all expanded the attack surface so that traditional parameters are effectively dead. Digital transformation means business is built on your data, but there's so much of it. How do you protect all of your data at once and all the avenues that someone can steal your data? It's becoming a huge challenge to secure it all. In addition, companies also need to ensure the resilience and reliability of data-driven services in the face of escalating ransomware attacks, as we've seen along the way. Last but not least, attackers have become smarter over the years, and the days of threats using a single attack vector have long been gone. Cybersecurity criminals are increasingly using multiple techniques in a single campaign, often require little or no human interaction. And then when it comes to reporting, regulatory really does expect a high bar of transparency. When it comes to regulatory reporting, fulfilling regulatory reporting requirements has become a pretty heavy lifting project, meaning it's very manual, it's hard to find, and not just to use the technology, but even more to find the people to manage the technology. So how do we make sure with that limited set of specialists in the market around security and compliance, how do we make sure we have the right skills to be ready for a world of today, but even be safer for a world of tomorrow? Our customers will need to make decisions if they're going to invest and hire and develop their talent, or if they're going to involve consultants and external advisors, as we have an extensive partner ecosystem in the market to support them, like Deloitte locally. We at AWS, we believe it's not an either or story, it's an and story. Priority number one is your staff and making sure they have the skills of tomorrow. So how do we make sure you can address these cultural and organizational challenges by upskilling and enabling your staff on cloud computing so they get the most value out of the platform? How will we do this? First is training. We're providing a number of e-learning, instructor-led trainings designed for security, compliance, and governance professionals to build the skill set they need to meet the security and compliance objectives. With a variety of content and persona-based trainings, we provide training for more technical resources and non-technical resources, where we actually have the Cloud Audit Academy is an AWS security audit learning pathway designed for those in auditing, risk and compliance and are involved in assessing regulated workloads along the way. We have more technical and also executive trainings where we do executive security simulations. We provide hands-on workshops where we walk you through how does a real attack look like and what do you need to pay attention to, but also theoretical courses on AWS Security Essentials that we enable on our platform for each of your staff to do. We also have audit professional trainings, again, that you can find in the Cloud Audit Academy to enable your staff accordingly on what is required on AWS. With AWS, we just want to make sure that you control where your data is stored, who can access it, and what resources your organization is consuming at any given time. AWS is architected to be the most flexible and secure cloud computing environment available today. Our core infrastructure is built to satisfy the security requirements for the military, global banks, and other high sensitivity organizations. This is backed by a deep set of cloud security tools with over 230 security, compliance, and governance services and features. Knowing that over 90% of all products and services AWS builds comes from customer feedback. Please provide us any feedback on what you think you deserve and what you need to get the most value out of the cloud. These services and features enable you to implement the following design principles. First, implementing a strong identity foundation to implement the principle of least privilege and enforce separation of duties with appropriate authorizations for each interaction with AWS resources. Centralize identity management and aim to eliminate reliance on long-term static credentials. Second is how do we enable traceability? How do we monitor, alert, and audit actions and changes to your environment in real time? Integrate log and metric collection with systems to automatically investigate and take action. How do we make sure we don't just apply security at one layer, but at all layers at any given time to apply a defense in-depth approach with multiple security controls? Applying that to all layers, for example, the edge of your network, your VPC, load balancing, every instance of your computer service. How do we make sure we don't just make this a manual process and complex? We try to automate security best practices along the way. Automating software-based security mechanisms improve your ability to securely scale more rapidly and cost-effectively. Create secure architectures and include the implementations of controls that are defining and managing as code in a version-controlled template. Protecting your data, not just in transit, but also at rest, is making sure that you have classified your data into sensitivity levels, saying which data is more sensitive than other data, and using mechanisms such as encryption, tokenization, and access control where appropriate. Keeping people away from your data is equally as important as giving access to people to your data, is using mechanisms and tools to reduce or eliminate the need for direct access and manual processing of data. This reduces the risk of mishandling or modification and human error when handling sensitive data. We also want to make sure that you are prepared for these security events, as we know it's just a matter of time when it will happen to you. How do you prepare for an incident? Having incident management and an investigation policy and process that aligns to your organizational requirements. How do you run incident response simulations and use tools to automate and increase your speed for detection, investigation, and recovery so you are not impacted as a business? The AWS Sweep is mapped along the 3 lines of a defense model. We want to manage the risk, we want to oversee the risk, and we want to assure the risk management along the way. AWS CloudTrail, AWS Config, and AWS Control Tower and License Manager help customers to implement operational controls for their cloud resources. Amazon CloudWatch and AWS Security Hub help customers to gain a comprehensive overview of operational health and security posture across their AWS accounts. CloudWatch provides data and actionable insights to monitor your applications, respond to system-wide performance changes, optimize resource utilization, and get a unified view of your operational health. Amazon Security Hub is a single repository that aggregates, organizes, prioritizes security alerts or findings from multiple AWS services. With AWS Audit Manager, it's easy to assess if your company's policies, procedures, and activity, also known as controls, are operating effectively. AWS Artifacts is your go-to central resource for compliance-related information that matters to you. It provides an on-demand access to AWS security and compliance reports and select online agreements. How to make sure that you're automating security and compliance tasks along the way. AWS is enabling you to be more secure by reducing human configuration errors and giving your team more time to focus on work that's actually critically to your business. We have a wide variety of deeply integrated solutions that can be combined to automate tasks in novel ways, making it easier for your security teams to work closely with developer and operational teams to create and deploy more faster and more securely. That will make sure that you can innovate while being safe at the same time. AWS services such as Amazon Guard Duty, Amazon CloudTrail, AWS Config, AWS Lambda automate processes to help remediate faster and in accordance with your security and compliance needs. This reduces human configuration errors, enabling customers to be more secure and giving your team, again, the focus that is required on the work that is needed. Another example is by employing technologies like machine learning. AWS enables you to automatically and continuously discover, classify, and protect sensitive data in AWS with just a few clicks in our console. A great example of that is AXA, a French multinational insurance firm that specializes in property insurance, life insurance, healthcare savings, and asset management. AXA has set up a global framework to accelerate migration to AWS, deploy standard configurations such as encryption, network configuration, logging and monitoring of compliance, and agile approach that enables their local teams to autonomously test, validate, and propose changes to their environments while centrally monitoring adherence to detective and preventative controls. At AWS, we don't do this alone. We actually have the AWS FSI compliance team that supports customers in a number of ways. First, regulatory education and engagement, focusing on regulatory specific summits, workshops, briefings, thought leadership, and responses to regulatory requests in the market. Second, for you, we focus on customer education and guidance, making sure we run compliance and security immersion days and workshops, assisting you in preparing for submission to regulatory bodies and giving you the training you need, such as Cloud Audit Academy, but also contractual compliance, making sure the contractual terms to enable customers to comply with applicable laws and regulations in the regions that you're looking to operate, making sure that during enterprise agreement negotiations, AWS also assists to map the internal control requirements and service provider requirements to our enterprise agreement terms. We make sure that we help you around the vendor due diligence. We provide artifacts and independent reports to perform vendor due diligence. And last but not least, we have our customer control framework, making sure you have the guidance when you're moving and using AWS as your cloud adoption framework moving forward. Thank you for your attention today and your engagement. I hope you learned something new and have an understanding of how AWS can support you and your business, and have supported a wide variety of financial services, from enterprises to startups to independent software vendors along the way. And we're looking forward to support you on your journey to the cloud. Have a great afternoon and hope to see you soon. Bye.